seems to be the problem if people aren't getting the torus to look how mine looks. Make sure you've drawn your guide circle using diameter, not radius.
Will you check mine real quick? Just make sure I'm on the right spot. I think it looks about right. I don't know if I got my sizes right, but it's a Taurus. I was a little behind getting caught up, but it's a Taurus.
It looks pretty. I mean,
Oh, here, play with that real quick. That's so. Isn't that nice?
Nice. That is really nice. Where's your? Okay, so this isn't actually right. So.
You want to start over?
Yeah. So if you run the Taurus command on that.
Taurus. Center point. Let me turn center O snap on.
Yep.
Center, and then
0.45 is your first radius.
Okay.
Good.
Done.
And now you're snapping the second radius to the curve you drew.
So what should I pick?
You could have near, end, or quad. They're all gonna have the same effect.
And then, is it that one?
You might need to turn grid snap off because it looks like that's kind of conflicting with some of your O snaps.
That one. Yes? Or is it the outside one?
There you go. Except yours also, it looked like it did that backwards as well, which is weird. Did you draw your ring?
I can start over.
Yeah, I think you might have drawn your ring using the radius instead of diameter.
Okay, so we need to use center of circle.
So go ahead and place the center.
Let me get
first. You might turn grid snap back on just to put it right on the.
That's the easiest one. Grid
origin.
snap. Okay, and then diameter.
So, yes, that was the problem.
And set it to 0.6.
0.666.
Lovely.
Yes.
And then Taurus. Then center of radius. Let's leave that on. Turn grid snap off. That 0.45. Yes. Diameter or radius?
For this, you're looking at the radius, and 0.45 is correct. And now you're using near, end, or quad snap to snap.
That one?
Not center. Oh. That's the only one you don't want to use.
And then.
There you go. That's it. So your curve that you drew should end up being the inside of the ring.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Yes. Now,
why is it not?
That's why I only get it like once a month.
I think it's kind of hard to tell because this was moved.
Oh no, this is different.
Oh, it is. Okay. So
If you're interested in what you're getting out, tell me, because I sure don't remember how to make it.
Oh, this is your, okay, so that's. I bet what you did is you had this set to radius still, so when you draw your guide, oh, no, it is, I'm gonna go to the wrong one. You wanna use distance constraint of 0.666.
It's not good now.
And if you run the torus the same way. So center is in the center back, there you go. Radius is 0.45, that's perfect. And then near, end, or quad snap on your.
I'm not a huge like fruity person.
There you go. So with that, your curve is the inside of the ring. All right. So one small difference in your commands can make a big impact on the end result. Make sure you're checking yourself along the way. This is another good reason why it's always important to maintain your curves. I saw a lot of people remove curves in their homework. Don't delete curves. Whatever you do, you can hide them, you can put them on another layer, turn the visibility off. Don't get rid of them. All right.
Even if they weren't placed where they should be, I just move them out of the way.
I mean, yeah, if they're not right, or you didn't actually use them meaningfully, but if you actually are modeling with them, keep your curves.
Even when no one can handle it.
Yeah, sometimes they do, and then that's the case where I would say, put them on a new layer and turn them off. Don't delete. Okay. So, now that we have our little ring here, and because this is a single surface, we can turn our control points on. So, you all might remember control points from our last demo. It's in your standard tools. I think you can even type points on it, I think. Yeah, you can type points on if you like. You can also just hit the little points on icon underneath the split command. And that's gonna show you these editable control points that you can move around to deform your surface.
If the template circle that we made isn't lining up with the ring perfectly, is that okay?
It should be.
Cause it's like probably not even a millimeter off.
This is where my circle is.
It's like just a little bit small, it's like a hair smaller.
Like, mine is literally right on the inside of that edge. Did you just visually place your second radius, or did you, okay.
Visually.
I mean, like, technically it's fine, but just for future practices, make sure you've got your near O snap turned back on.
It is 0.007 away.
I'll accept it. Alright, so, because this is one of our primitive objects that's derived from just a single surface, we can play around by selecting and using our gumball tool to transform our object using control points. So this, for anybody, any sculptors in the room, this might feel a little bit more natural, thinking about just pushing and pulling the physical form around instead of memorizing commands. Definitely, you need to work on commands if you don't have them, but, this could be a good way to start thinking through ideas, maybe in a bit more of an intuitive manner. Now, just as a refresher for you guys, we can also take this surface and use the rebuild command to give ourselves more or less points of editability. So if we weren't able to make, the kinds of bends or details we wanted, we could add more control points. Or if we aren't able to make as big of a gesture as we wanted, we could remove some points. That's going to cause bigger, adjustments in the surface with fewer movements. I hope that makes sense. I kind of feel like I'm speaking a different language today. I'm so tired. Does anybody have any questions so far?
How did you make it go like that?
So that's just kind of a fun little trick. With the gumball tool, I selected this row of control points, shift selected the opposite row of control points, and then used the scale on the gumball tool to scale two sides at once.
Wait, can you do that one more time?
Yeah.
Oh, you hit shift?
Yeah, so if I did a box selection to grab this row of control points, and then shift select another box selection to grab the opposite row of control points. And then just, scale on it.
Where? Okay.
Yeah, the open square is your scale.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Sorry, can you show how you did the control point, like activated the control
Oh,
points again?
Yeah, that is just this
Oh,
icon
got
here
it.
underneath the split command. You can also type points on. If you look at page 5 as well, there's other ways here to alter your form using just discrete selections. So the example that I did on page 5 here shows what happens if you select alternating rows. of control points. matter of minutes, I've iterated 3 different forms and ended on this kind of simplified butterfly shape. Again, just intuitively manipulating the form of control points, and I could have saved each version along the way, which would have been smart. I didn't do that.
So you went ahead and selected all 3 points on, I guess, the corner, maybe?
Yeah, you could do it that way. And it just depends too, like maybe I don't have enough control points in my form right now to make the shape on page 5. Right, because this one I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows of control points. So maybe I could do it on this one. It's just a matter of alternating bands of control point selection.
So in the event that you can only move one at a time, is there a way to make sure that all points are aligned?
I would say
Or just,
not really, no.
okay.
If you're, I mean, it's a very tedious way to work. I would say just practice, play around with turning on wireframe or ghost it to give yourself a good view of your control points through your form.
Okay.
If you wanna make these overarching gestures, like on page 5 and like the one I demonstrated where I raised to the top of this form, you're just gonna need to practice those selection types and get used to those kinds of adjustments. But there are other selection tools, sometimes they can be kind of finicky, but there are other selection tools. Here's my little brush. I did expand my view here, but if you go to the select menu, now this is not one of the drop-down tabs. This is instead of having your standard tool underneath your command line. For my Mac people, this is probably in a different location, but you're just looking for these tabs that have different icons, for tools. The one that says select has other options of selecting that can be used for, different things. So like lasso points, for example, we can click and drag a selection lasso around our points, and it's going to cumulatively select. So if we are in a case where, maybe we want to select these diagonal rows of control points, we can't just drag a normal box selection around those without, maybe selecting things we don't want to, selecting too much, or accidentally deselecting. So the lasso select, right here, your lasso control points, this can be a good way of, selecting those. This wasn't on the demo, but this could be a good thing to show. Any questions about that?
Can you show the lasso again?
Yeah, so that is located in your select tab. And it looks like a little cartoon lasso with 4 squares in it. And if you activate that tool, you just left click and drag a shape around control points, right click to end it, and you can keep repeating that command to add to your selection.
So it selects the points that are in that general area.
Yeah, as long as they fall within your lasso.
Now, even if you made the 2D shape with the lasso, it selects. So in that one area, it selects the ones that are on top, middle, and bottom.
Yeah, it'll go all the way through, alright, yeah, good question. Now some other transform tools, I'm not gonna go through all of these, but you all should play around with them today during your work time. The ones that I mentioned here are scale, which you can obviously do in the gumball tool. That's how I made these transformations on my ring already. But there are other commands like shear, bend, stretch, and taper. So these are located in the transform drop-down menu. So of course you can type these. These can be really powerful tools for modifying forms uniformly and evenly. So something to play around with as well. I don't mean to rush through this. I just want to make sure I give you all plenty of work today. But are there any questions for me? Oh.
Just trying to figure out how these work.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of practice, but if you have any explicit questions, just let me know.
How,
I'm-
sorry, how would you end up getting a shape like the star on page 5?
So that would be a combination of selecting one row of alternating control points.
And are you just holding down shift?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm holding down shift to select alternating rows of control points, using the gumball tool to scale that row out, and then selecting the alternate row of control points.
So like the second row?
Yeah, whichever row you didn't just scale out. And then scale that one in. Now mine looks more like a pencil because I've got fewer rows of control points, but that's the general idea. It's not that complicated, it just takes a little practice. Has anybody in here taken sculpture or like ceramics? Okay, so high school. I feel like this approach is easier for ceramicists and traditional sculptors to understand because it's literally taking the form and pushing it around. But I just want to show you all the different ways of doing things. So maybe it's not the most useful for you. Maybe you like it. Either way, you gotta practice it.
I have never heard the term ceramicists.
Ceramicists?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I've
People that
never.
work with ceramics.
It makes sense. I just never heard it.
It's a profession. All right. Well, I have this completely painful, unbearable ring form I'm going to move forward with this demo. I'm gonna start on page 7 here. And this is a technique, Bethany, I worked with you on this one last class for your wearable object, so you might remember this already. But we're going to give this ring like a pendant on top or some kind of like set gem, some kind of sculptural element like a cocktail ring. I'm going to start with petals, but again, this could be whatever shape you want. This could be another form that you modify your control points, whatever you like. And for this one, I'm just sort of visually gauging the proportion of this ellipse based on the ring. And yeah, maybe I wanna play around with this one a little bit by turning my points on and even rebuilding it. Just a reminder, for degrees, you're always gonna set it to 3 when you rebuild. But maybe I give it some more points to edit. I'm gonna do like 6 and 6. It's not quite enough. I'm gonna, yeah. I'm gonna do a few more. form to my ring. I'm not just going to simply drag it and call it a day, right? Visually, it looks connected, functionally, not connected. It's not gonna be able to be fabricated. It's not fabricable. So what we have to do is we have to make a physical connection. Now, because these are both closed surfaces, we could Boolean union them together. But that's gonna give us this really hard connection point. And maybe we want a smoother bridge between our points. So something I might do instead of a simple Boolean union, which again would work because these are both closed surfaces. But I wanna remodel the connection between these two forms so it's more organic. I'm gonna start by creating two cutting planes. There's a lot of ways to make cutting planes. For me personally, I like to take two polylines from an orthometric view and draw across my form where I want to cut. And then extrude those using the gumball tool. So something like that. You just wanna make sure your cutting planes go all the way through your form. There is a cutting plane in the surface plane and cutting plane drop-down menu. It's just more clicks than this method, but you're welcome to do that. It's essentially the same process. But you should end up with two planes that go through the bottom of your ring topper and the top of your ring. Now, from here, you're gonna take your ring topper and your ring, and you're going to use the split command, and then use your planes, your extruded planes, as cutting planes. And then you'll see it chops your ring according to where those planes intersect. How are we doing on that, y'all?
I'm getting
Okay. Yeah. So, with these two intersecting objects, I want to cut them apart to create a more natural bridge between these parts. So I'm going to use my polyline tool. From whatever orthometric view I can see the side of my objects from. And I'm going to draw a line, holding down shifts to make sure that's a perfectly straight line. I'm going to draw a line wherever I want to cut my surfaces apart. So I want to chop off the top of my ring and the bottom of my ring topper. So I drew two polylines to indicate where that cut is going to go on both of my objects. And then from whatever viewport you can see the top or alternate view of your polylines, you're going to use the gumball tool to extrude those curves into surfaces. So just a reminder for that gumball tool, the blue circle, so the solid blue dot on your gumball tool, that's the extrude function. Okay, so if you just click the open square on the end of your gumball tool, that's not gonna extrude your planes. Make sure you click the solid circle. When you hover your cursor over it, you should see extrude pops up in the little dialog window. So you click hold and drag down to create two planes. You might need to reposition, just make sure they fully intersect all the way around the forms you want to cut. And then you're gonna select your ring components, so the topper and your ring form, and run the split command since we already had those forms selected when we ran the split command, the command line is just asking us simply to select the cutting objects now. So we're gonna grab those two planes we just extruded and accept the transformation.
Where is the cutting plane tool?
If you wanna use the explicit cutting plane tool, it's in the surface drop-down menu, plane, surface, plane, and cutting plane.
So we select the object?
Yeah, it behaves almost the same way. I'll run through that method as well. So if we go to surface, plane, cutting plane, it's going to ask you to select the objects you want to cut. So I selected my ring form and my topper. And then this is exactly like the polyline tool. It's going to ask you to draw a cutting plane. So again, I'm holding down shift to activate that ortho angle so my line is perfectly straight. And I'm gonna draw it across the top of my ring form and the bottom of my ring topper. And then in the command, it will see it as being 2 points for you. So both end with the same result here. Maybe you prefer one over the other. That is your prerogative. So I'm going to select my ring forms, just like I did before, and run the split command. And select my cutting planes as the cutting objects. And there we have our edges cut apart right now. So now I'm gonna delete the interior, those pieces that were split apart. You should end up with an opening on the top of your ring form and the bottom of your ring topper. So the next thing we're going to do is a blend surface. I mean, there are several other ways we could make this connection. Can anybody think of another way besides blend surface that we would create a surface between these two open edges? You could think of them as two curves.
Loft,
Loft. What's another way?
sweep,
Sweep. We could do sweep too, and we could model a profile curve between these objects.
this is how we figured out that guitar neck.
So, you know, redundancy is a beautiful thing. We've got multiple ways to solve this problem. For this particular demo, I'm gonna go with blend surface. Now, when you run blend surface, you're almost always gonna want to hit chain edges. So hopefully this is just a review from last class. Chain edges just means you're going to be able to select more than one edge at a time to complete your closed curve selections. So I'm gonna start by selecting all the way around the the bottom of my ring topper. It was able to do that automatically, so then I look at the command line and it's just asking me for the second edge now. So I'm gonna start selecting around the bottom, the top of my ring form. And this is why chain edges is important, because it was only able to select one of my 4 edges for that opening. So because I activated chain edges, I can select each sequential edge along that opening. So that's the most common mistake with blend surface. If you don't hit chain edges, it's not gonna let you select more than one edge for your open edges. As always, when you've got two curves you're blending forms between, you're gonna get a seam line. Make sure those arrows are pointed in the same direction and that your line isn't stretching across from opposite edges of your form, right? So you should end up with a relatively straight line and those arrows in the same direction. And there we go. Yes.
With the cutting plane, is that the same command as the face surface? Or is it?
No.
And like,
you can't type that one, you're gonna go to, if you wanna use cutting plane instead of extruded polylines, you're gonna go to the surface drop-down menu, plane, cutting plane. Yeah. Alright, now remember with this menu, your adjustable surface blend, you've got different methods of altering your form. So you can use these sliders to move your points around between those two forms. You know, within reason, like this is obviously not a move you would wanna do because the geometry is twisting in on itself when you go to those extremes. But, you've got a lot of play with this form from this menu. You can also click between 1 and 2 to get, blend modes that are, very rigid, very taut to very curvy and organic, whatever combinations you like. And then hit OK. There's still one thing I need to do before I turn this in as hypothetical homework. Who knows what that is? I think Pat knows what it is, but just hold that thought. Wait for somebody else to, I'm pretty sure you do know what it is. Who knows what it is?
Boolean union them all into a solid closed surface.
You've got the right idea, but it's not a Boolean union, because Boolean unions are for closed poly surfaces.
Oh.
Just try it.
Yeah, it's not a Boolean union.
Join?
It's a join. We're gonna join everything together. And when you click your object and look again, you should see one closed poly surface. Alright. I think I'm gonna pause there just to give you all more time to work today. And we'll pick up on flow along curve on page 10. Any questions for me before I let you all get to it? So I do wanna say, I've got all but Kaylee's and Jesse's patterns cut. So, if you haven't glued your forms together and you worked on it with those two people, your papers are waiting for you here on this table. So you're welcome to, I only have one glue stick because they've all been stolen, so I apologize. But one at a time, you're welcome to, glue together your papers. Now, let me grab my self-healing mat and my knife too, because some of you all gave me a lot of confetti. Some of you all did make cuts that went all the way through. So you might need to make some manual edits. And I did my best for those who gave me a bunch of confetti to tape your forms together. It's not perfect. I'll be right back.
Okay, time to do some work on homework. That is not the homework that I had. Oof.
I'm sorry, Bethany, I also need to cut yours still. So I've got 3 S's. digital calipers out on the table for anyone who needs measurements.
is. Okay, looks like we're gonna start anew. Let's go back to OBS. And standby off. Next screen on. Okay.
So, free inclusion, I got a little bit down, but you want to like, up, now, but I barely.
To be honest, I was like, that would be a little, also.
Oh.
Yeah, it might have some of that, but also like that's the side that's going to be interacting with the support interface anyway, so there's gonna be some kind of scarring that you have to sand, well, fill and sand anyway. So I would be concerned about it.
Okay, 'cause that's, yeah. I don't wanna say easier, like, just print like that and then fill it and but like, most of it I think is really.
Yeah, like if this was an app set for a video game, I would say, maybe let's fix it, but for what we're doing, like you're gonna need to first process it regardless. And, yeah.
And then, so, if we spray paint, is that?
I would just say, like, you know, that spray, you can hold it really far away, like you do normal spray paint, that's how I would treat those areas. And then just get closer for areas where you want there.
That's not at all what I want.
Like taping, like, I have some tape actually, like putting work on the things and like getting the paint in there for those ones and getting it peeling off and those running over.
You could, yeah, I think that would be like ideal, like doing a light even spray over the whole thing, taping it off, then doing your heavy spray, or even just doing your, taping it off, doing your heavy spray, then doing a light spray on top.
Okay.
Perfectly layered and that's.
And also though, you know, and they have like overcomplicate.
I want to, you just need to see, like, you just need to actually figure out your process. And this is that, right, this is what you're figuring out with this fish, is your process.
Also, okay, so this is for next fish, but is, so, the field motor, you're a little bit lumpy, like, here, and is that just like a, basically, I should've fixed that before we put on all the details. Is there a way, okay, I don't, like, I don't want it to be too symmetrical, cause then it's like, it's not as like, but,
The lumpiness that you're talking about
like the thing that is actually that was. I remember even time that's this one like you know what I mean? But also, so we were back then. So I don't know how I did it, but so this half I was just doing exactly the other thing, but it was pushing out this way. So like, this is kind of cool, so I did it, but I moved out that was on.
Well, if you wanna avoid that,
I had the front facing.
Yeah.
Front facing open.
you can do it there.
Or am I like actually?
Yeah. But I like both
Okay,
ways.
good.
That looks good, this looks
Okay, I like it like that. That looks more fabricy to me, and I might try that method for. But, okay, so the next mission.
I mean, the only layer I would say is texturing all of it.
I wonder if I should sweep that instead.
You know, too, like, you don't need to re-sculpt every single thing for it to finish. Like, for example, you could, since these parts aren't attached.
Sweep one.
Like, you're over in the program, like, how many of your oatmeal is over there, and that's on our
It is used for what I don't think it does now. The old way of doing it was.
Oh shit, cancel. I need to build shapes.
All of your meshes from a different builder file.
Yeah, that's the thing. The process.
Oh, these are, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay,
These
yeah.
are blend
Yeah.
files, okay, yeah, so you click on one and you mesh and then select all the meshes to bring into your document.
Oh.
Just, but I don't know what's in, these are gonna, but
Yeah,
just
that's
so you
what-
know.
So that was select shape.
No, you don't select.
Oh, no, you don't,
just go
okay.
and go to file and this is where you bring in, like, you bring objects.
Oh,
from
I need to
files
get
into-
Hannah to come help here. Let's see. Or we're gonna do it on one of these. Let's try this again.
And you just put the file that you can take things from.
Oop.
But yeah, for instance, I could take this same way this, and then it would this file. And if I take this, duplicate it, so maybe it. Yeah.
Hannah, when you get a chance, can I borrow you?
Right, but we can make really big edits, how come to redraw everything?
Yeah, that's,
Or like, this is almost a way for scale.
yeah.
Already.
What I can do here,
also do a similar thing with drag and have just like a big reusable brush. Bigger. And, you know, I'm not a so that's my exactly more because it's going to distort based on how you're looking at them. So if you want these to be plainer than how they are now, you want to be looking at it straight on.
I definitely, after looking, I can tell that at some point, I pushed something so that slightly turned, so it's like the eyes are not even detailed, but it
Yeah.
was just like so slight that I couldn't even tell me that happened.
Well, and honestly, like at some point, maybe you just want these fish that are stiff.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like maybe they need to have a curve to it.
Yeah, that was the other thing was, I wanna maybe think about like, if I were to make like fish slices, would it be easier to make fish cut in half, like cut slices, or, and I kinda also wanna have like the bones stuff in there, so you can see it, so like, that's what like, I guess it would just be best, so like, make fish, cut him, then add bone, meat, structure. So when I start with the bone structure, very big, then build over fish at the top, then cut it. Then I can edit the bones half. Because I also, I don't know what they're called, but they're like these things that are like is like a here's when you turn the wheel and it like
Yeah, like the
yes. And I wanted like fish like flopping like swimming, but like you know what I mean, where it's like the head is just like flopping and the body falls with it and then like yeah, it's a very like floppy system in my brain. But sure like I bet you would like find a pre-made like gear system situation like that. But I don't know how I would do the rest of it.
So for something like that, it's gonna be way more expensive to get a system that's that big.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm yeah. Like, if anything, maybe fish, but like, that's just so money, but like,
Yeah, I mean, it just begs the question,
why?
why are we going through that effort? Shiny, we can do shiny,
Yeah,
we can do that, like, there are faux finishes, less cool extent, there are silk filaments.
yeah.
I just, yeah, I don't know, like, at a certain point, you need to ask yourself these questions. The amount of effort you're putting into translating this into metal is, like, worth whatever material you can get out of it.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to this, there's a lot of different things about it. I kind of think, instead of sculpting the whole skeletal structure as well as sculpting the fish, because to be honest, sculpting the skeleton is gonna be way harder than sculpting the fish in just a little while. I think maybe a better approach for you that I'd like you to try out is drawing Photoshop, Illustrator, whatever digital media software you like. Highly detailed drawing of what this bisected slice looks like from a straight line, right? So like you see whatever you want us to see from one slice. We'll just start with one and see if the process works. But we could use that drawing as a displacement now on a flat face, so you don't actually sculpt it, raise the surface at 4
Okay. So then like detail, are you talking like cross hatching or like just like black and white, black and white? So like a black and white. Like,
It should be fully resolved wrong, not cross hatching. It should be like full value.
yeah.
You don't need to necessarily worry about color unless it's helpful. You can do full color
fleshiest here. Something that indicates tissue. Yeah. And
Is that for your cannibal wrap?
Yeah, I'm working on it because I have one that's almost finished at home, but I want to redo it, and I also left the file at home.
There you go.
It accidentally saved it to my hard drive at home instead of my iCloud drive, so that I could access it here.
Everything will be a little bit more simple.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be in the queue after the show.
Okay.
I have these 5 curves that I'm wanting to. I can pipe them easily enough, but they don't match up with the angle there. If I wanted to do a sweep, I can get the circle in the right place for the sweep shape, but I can't get it to fit along the face at that angle of the face.
Oh, well, there's a couple of things that you could do.
What would you do?
You could either extend your curve, that might be the easiest.
What do you mean?
So if you type extend, I think it's just extend. Yeah. And then select the end of one of your curves that's hitting the face.
Okay.
Yeah. And then enter. And then select that curve again.
Select same one again?
Yeah. And then it doesn't need to be like an inch, maybe just like
2.5.
Sure. Enter. Now turn your perspective into a wireframe view. Let's see how that handled it. So we should see that curve passing through your form now.
We do.
So now if you place your circle on that edge and then sweep it out, it's going to be able to blend.
Okay, so hang on, let's see this work. So I guess done with that, and then circle, center of circle on that point.
Mm-hmm.
So this will need end. Okay, and then which viewport should I go into? This one probably, right?
Yeah, probably that one.
Okay, I want it to be, I don't know, about like that. And
Now,
then,
let's look at what that looks like from your perspective view.
because it's not centered.
It's centered
Oh,
around your
oops.
line, but yeah, it doesn't look great. I think you still need to take that circle and make some adjustments with your gumball tool, actually.
There's no way to get it just to fit on the face.
I think there is, but honestly, this is gonna be easier. I just don't remember off the top of my head what we would do to put it directly on that face. I mean, maybe you could try orient on surface.
How do we do that?
I pasted that command last time, but yeah, it's orient on surface.
Base point, would that be the end? I would imagine. On surface.
Yes.
Surface to orient on.
So you might need to go into a shaded view to select that surface. Yeah. Base point. I think that's. I think that could be the center O snap in that circle.
Oh, well. Center.
Oh, you already clicked, so it's asking for the reference point.
I don't know how to answer that.
I mean, that's like where you're transforming your object to. So,
Would be the center.
yes. You might want it to prompt for rotation and orient. Actually, yeah, no, that's good. Orient. Click on surface to orient to.
Center.
Oh, that's the center point of the circle you already have. You want to do the center of the. Just click to place that circle, and then it'll ask you to do it again. Now this time snap here. There you go.
Whoa.
There you go. And oh, well, we do want 360, so just type 360 in the command line.
Point to orient to.
Right click to end.
I'm gonna get it. Put 360. Done. Right click to end.
Okay, now turn that into wireframe.
Now I got a bunch of them.
Yeah, let's see if any of those circles look right.
I don't know.
You gotta zoom around and check it out. No.
No, they all look like shit.
I still think the gumball rotation is the best move. So that you just delete
Oh.
it. Backspace, and I'll show you how I do it.
Now you get to play with the fancy mouse.
It's nice. You need to get me one of these. All right. So when I'm
Unclick your center button.
whatever. When I am checking out this circle here,
Uh-huh.
I'm comparing it against this angle because I want my circle to look planar from that angle.
And then once I get this, I can use the rotate function like we've been doing, right?
Yeah.
And put it on all the facets.
Exactly. Something like that looks much better and just took a few rotations.
Okay.
So now if you sweep one,
Well, let me get rid of these other two because they're a pain in my butt.
Alright.
Oh, there's four of them.
What's going on with you?
Okay, sweet.
Down here.
How's New York?
It was good. Short, very quick. Yeah, very quick and exhausting, but it was good.
How long is the flight?
The flight's not long.
2 hours.
Yeah, I had a layover in
Oh,
Detroit and then Boston on the way back, so it's like,
bummer.
yeah, ends up being like 6 hours of travel.
Okay.
Like, but
Yeah, it's a long time.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
At least.
Holy crap, it worked.
yeah.
That's my. But flying's different.
Right. Yeah.
So, real quick before you get with her, should I delete these curves and then just rotate this whole thing around? Because I wouldn't necessarily need these anymore, right? Because they're all centered. This should fall right on top of that.
Okay.
Because I did rotate center and like we've been doing.
Well, you should be fine then, but if it were me, I would leave them until after the rotation.
Just hide them, I guess.
I think you should play around with having multiple profile curves.
I will in the next part of this.
Okay.
This is like my initial arms that come out to like hold everything, and then I'm gonna do weird multi curves in between them as like supports.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm.
No, you're good.
Burning me a sense. Which is so okay, 'cause I know that. But my question is. Okay. So I have a few. Okay, I feel like my biggest obstacle right now is the scene, like the sewing part, the actual
Yeah.
assembly part.
You have one of those curved needles, right?
Yeah, like a tapestry needle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, as far as like the I was kind of looking at your seam to sewing demo,
Mm-hmm.
but it feels like, you know, it's just the scaffolding underneath.
Right.
Whereas this feels like more of the final shape.
Right. They would be two
So-
different models.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that form would be like, what do you envision that organic
The
drape
final.
looking like?
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that, like, I don't remember if I show you meta balls on that demo. Did I show you that?
I'll just scroll.
It would be up at the top if I did. Keep going, like up at the very top probably. Oh yeah, yeah. So modeling with meta balls would be a really
really quick way to get that kind of sloping gesture with just a few objects. I think that might be a little bit easier. If you wanna, I can show you like live right now on my
Okay.
computer.
Yeah, do you want them first?
Yes.
Go for it.
Are they aware this is? I have a question.
So, one of these strategies,
I mean, to be honest, I would recommend a less representational object for your modeling references. Just because that is gonna be rude. Yeah, given the techniques that you've learned so far, modeling something like with enough detail that it reads like fingers and wrists is gonna be. I'm sorry, I think that's gonna be just a little too much. Back to the Oh,
Break.
no, and, I did the guideline, but that was more when I was, okay, not long, yeah, but. There's nothing on there, so I'm saying that less Okay. It's a little complex.
Same thing, when you're like a parker hairstyle, I was thinking of a way to put the mountain wax channel downwards, to go to like this little hole or something, to use the candle wax. Or things like three faces and this in half. You just keep this part cut, have the candles like somewhat in there, so it's down.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, I think like either this one or the first music box is the most achievable. I think a lot of these are like a little too complex and heavily detailed for the time that you have, like just starting out modeling. Maybe not super realistic for the time. But I think either this one or your first music box idea definitely has a enormous possibility. Yeah, yeah. And this, like, if you want that to, that's achievable, then we can do that.
Even if I want the figures to cover all that, no.
Maybe not. This, yes. That and the figures. It's just, it's a lot of factors and it's gonna increase the complexity of the problem exponentially. I think would recommend you do is measure. So, what I would do, if I was looking at your ring, and we're like, okay, it's definitely too small. We're gonna measure that and see what that thing says. Crazy tiny. Then let's take a look at one of these other rings, where we're able to see the level of detail. Maybe the band is wrong, right? It's like awesome. But what does that look like? So that's like, I mean, I'm trying to figure out how many times bigger that is than your ring. It's exponentially bigger, right? So I think this comparison is a good starting point. How big is that? Yeah.
This, so far. This one.
Cool.
Now, in terms of having printed, what would be the best way to go about it?
I would just say Boolean union everything together and the separate, well,
Cause I'm gonna make some different one sides.
okay,
I've
cool.
done that already.
Cool. Yeah, I'd say Boolean union everything together and then we'll cut it apart and add connectors in the slicer before we run.
Okay. Now, I know you said, 6 by 6 by 8, and how again, go ahead and like do a little bit of that.
You can go larger. Yeah. Yeah, don't feel super restricted by that. Jesse.
Sorry.
Okay, let me look up Jesse real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I just remembered. I'm sorry. What's going on? That's way more cheaper. Yes. Yeah. But I want you to continue doing research and get your own.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Did you have another question?
No.
Okay, okay.
This doesn't have to perfectly match it, right? Cause I kinda have to make some creative decisions with all of it.
Okay, yeah,
As long as it's close enough.
you had a very intricate cut at the end of the day.
It's a little pretty similar, so I'm just gonna change the bulbs and that might be the wrong side.
Yeah, I think make your best decisions. Yeah, and I did lose some of those little legs, cause they just they're too tiny and got sucked through.
It's okay. And you could somewhat tell it's still a spider, so I was like,
Can I rewind it here so I'm able to say the whole?
Yes, now remember, once you assemble, you'll need to take a picture and turn your picture into canvas for that assignment. But yeah, you're welcome to leave it on the back shelf until you drew anything out.
Is it supposed to rain today?
I know. That's
it's
all
also
right.
be like the next 2 weeks. We're gonna all talk about it.
We have 8 inch and 16 inch, yeah. Yeah. You're going to do this A, or you can use the
All right, we're back. Now I gotta figure out how I want to do this.
and maybe them all makes sense to you.
Okay.
Now these scale down. I just use S to scale. There's nothing okay.
Okay, now let's see.
Yeah, you can just hit S on a keyboard. It scales it
So if I build A.
Now what's cool about the methodology, why I think it makes sense for you, is if you just copy and paste or add multiple of these forms and then move them around, they're automatically going to merge to each other. Right? And because these are kind of forming into one mesh, you can't really just click.
That's kind of interesting.
If you wanna edit, you can't just like click the, oh, I wanna drag this all around. You gotta click this circle around it. Oh, I see. To modify just one component, and it's like, oh, I'm part of this now. So, once you get your form pretty much down, you select everything, convert it to a mesh. So you just right click and convert to mesh. Okay. From there, you're gonna want to do Control A. So Control A, apply all transforms.
Surface.
Okay. After you apply all transforms, select the object menu and go to sculpting.
So I'm gonna sweep it.
And you might actually really like this.
It would be sweep. It would be a loft.
This is closing.
Here's the loft.
So you've got all these sculpting brushes here. Just click and move. This would be a clay brush, so it inflates the mesh. The thing you have to look out for here, this is really low poly right now. So you can only get so much detail unless you remesh. And if you do this, you just go high level to sample your box with eyes. And then you're gonna go just a little lower, so that was 0.08 something, so I'm gonna do 0.07.
Area or the
How would I could rail sweep it, maybe? Let's try that. So we're gonna go here.
Come on, back shelf. No, shelf.
Yeah, the third or fourth one down.
Okay. This is empty.
I mean, this is my form flat now. That's what we would do to export it. But if we do this.
Okay.
And this one, we're thinking of, we're going to laser cut that. So, oh, Rhino? Yeah. No, I can just like cut it and use it as practice for Rhino. Okay, so we can laser cut your pattern on the sheet of paper. That or, yeah, for like the same pattern. I haven't even gone that far. Okay, so I'm gonna try out the same pattern, not to call me so when, okay, so my idea, there's 3 things, that you decided on. Here, throwing going past, and then acrylic substance. So yeah, if I'm going to use how do you want me to slice that board? I think I'll do that for myself. You already have to worry about the slicer, so maybe okay, so if I could see that file today, yeah, for your and probably get another printed by next class and get the second one right here. Okay, that works. Yeah, that works for me. Yeah, that's great. Because the drawing delay and then start doing Chinese class. Right. And we thought we're gonna shoot up to so we won't start our next class until next Wednesday. So, okay, so that's a good time. And then the year one, I want that to be final. Before this is year on year two, crazy. I know, I'm like, I might actually really, yeah, so, still same. I mean, he just gotta constantly give himself grace and recalibrate. No. Okay, cool. Well, I'll send you my whole back. And then I'll work on slicing. So you could get laser cutting on Thursday's class probably for your
Okay.
Acrylic slices.
Okay. That sounds great.
Alright.
Thank you, Hannah.
It should be fine, to be honest with you. Sometimes if you have a really complex bend, it just doesn't like generate good. Yeah, it's like still, it's just erasing that surface and then wash right across. Yeah, I don't know. It looks good without this material. Oh, that's weird. No, that would be a problem. Yeah. You might need to do a cutting plan before you put it.
Okay, that's kind of wild.
So, what's the problem?
So like I wanna try to make one that like
Okay, yeah. So, there's a lot of ways that you can do this. The first thing I would say is like you should open this up. So the way I selected that, just that face, it's Control Shift click, that's your direct selection. So we got that face. And there's a lot of ways that we can manage from here to here. I would recommend maybe doing a profile curve. So in one of your orthometric views, modeling what you want that lid to look like. Something like that. And then doing a sweep two, because we've got two rails.
See, then I have to fucking sweep shape, and I don't want to sweep shape. Oh, fucking hell. Let's try it with a square, I guess. See what that does.
Yeah, so this command, you can review it, I've got it, on last view, pouring on surface. You can move the forest to that one.
Zoom in. One there. Hannah, can I borrow you for a minute?
Just one second.
Well, if I wanted to blend this thing into this thing, what tool should I be using for that? Because one is a closed and one is open. This thing is open, this is closed.
Well, you could either cap that closed thing and then
Cap the open thing?
Or excuse me, yeah, cap the open thing and then Boolean union it.
Well, it's not touching.
Well, you'll need to move it then. But I saw you moving that one face around. You could just use your gumball tool to move it so it intersects.
Let me see here. And somehow my views get all screwed up sometimes. Like, the rotate will just stop working. It'll get like in this weird, where I can't get to the other side of the, I don't know why it does that.
Sometimes I have to reset my views just by going to the drop-down menu in the top left corner of each window, the one you
Oh,
just opened.
okay.
And then just go to set view and then reset it to perspective.
Okay, so if I move it,
So I wouldn't move the whole piece. I would just grab that one edge. So using your direct selection, control and shift to grab the edges
that one,
that are opening. You probably need to grab all four.
I think I capped it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I
Okay.
capped it. So
Okay.
just grab that.
Well, you'll need to grab the face. You're grabbing an edge. So you've got to rotate your view around.
So back up and then come back in from a different angle. Let me wireframe that.
So.
Oh, I had it for a second there. That should be the face.
Yes. And then on the top viewport.
And make sure I got the try to make sure I got the face, or if I've got the
So
that
remember,
surface I had.
you can hold shift and I think middle mouse button to pan. You have to do a combination of, I guess it's right click and shift. Yeah, so you have to do a combination of panning and zooming. It's gonna be really hard to navigate with just zooming. Yeah.
Okay, it appears I do have the face. Okay,
So then from the top viewport,
top
you can-
viewport.
you can zoom in there and see how that needs to move to intersect.
So
That's
extrude it.
You can just move it. You should be able to anyway. We'll see. It's hard to tell what that did to your form. Zoom around in the perspective viewport. See if that distorted your form too much.
Because what I was wanting to do is just kind of like have it smooth into it.
So if you Boolean union those together, you can use what's called fillet edge.
Okay, should I leave what I just did or undo it?
Undo it.
So try to Boolean union.
It's not touching right now,
Yeah.
so you can try extruding it in instead of moving it and see if that works better. There you go.
Okay. And
Alright,
then
now that's going to be a separate object though, so you've got to Boolean union your forms together first, like that.
this one and this one.
Yeah.
Okay, and now this to this?
Yes. Uh-huh.
The only well, okay. Because I was going to rotate this thing when I'm done. Can I still do that?
You can go back after and redo it. I just wanted to show you these real quick. Okay, so now you'll do fillet edge.
Fillet edge. Okay.
All right, so then select the edge where your
This one
form-
here?
where it connects to the rounded surface. Yeah. Yep. And you want to select all those edges that connect to that surface. So you'll need to rotate around in the perspective view and then pan over.
Oh, you say pan was shift and right click?
Yes. Yes. There you go.
And then,
And then the bottom one you'll need to rotate under. There you go.
oop, wrong one.
Not that one. There you go.
Is that it?
Yep. Oh, no. Control click.
This
There you
one.
go. Yep. You might need to zoom in closer. It's having a hard time getting that from that angle. Yeah, I think you gotta zoom in. And then pan down.
Oh. Shift down.
There you go. Alright.
Okay.
So right click. And then in the command line, check link handles. And then, excuse me, unselect your OSNAP modifier, or excuse me, modeling aid.
Okay.
And grab one of these handles, the little white dot.
Do I know which one?
They're all going to be the same since you linked handles.
Oh, okay.
And then drag it in to set that radius lower. It's going to need to be really low.
Like,
Something like 0.05 probably. Alright, now let's see what that looks like. It might be able to do that.
hit okay?
Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty
Well,
good.
it was able to do that side, but over here,
Oh.
it wasn't able to make that end.
Here, let's go down here and
Yeah.
figure out why. Wonder why, because it made it just made extra.
So it does that when it just can't complete that radius on that form. So I would just Control Z to undo it.
Okay. So it did it on that side, but not this side.
Yeah, but it's going to give you an open object. You just
Yeah.
need to Control Z to do it again. So that means you need to set the radius smaller for that to work.
Okay, so fillet.
Well, now let me tell you your other option. Because fillet edge is like the way that you would do this normally for like product design.
Okay.
But you're gonna have to have a really small radius in order to make this work. And you might lose the effect you're going for by setting that so small. So the alternative would be to take your form here and split it using
That the piece.
uh-huh.
Whoa.
Okay.
Select cutting object.
I think it already did it. Yeah. And then let's delete this poly surface.
Oh, try it again.
Oh. Okay, that's annoying. This one. Delete that one. Oh.
Good
yeah,
one, we're
actually that
good.
is what we want. Yeah, okay. This one that's joined. This one's the one I want to delete. And this one that's joined, we can hide. There we go. And this I'm gonna hide. So now we've got two openings here,
Mm-hmm.
and you can use blend surface.
Okay.
Or you could also model a curve and do sweep 2.
I'm gonna try blend surface, but before I do that, if I've got it in the right place, then I'm gonna go ahead and rotate and get all my pieces in. Or should I blend the surface and then rotate, or would it already be Boolean unioned?
If you want to rotate this, I would actually step back and, sorry, could you zoom back in there?
Oh, zoom in.
Yeah, So I would actually rotate this piece that's intersecting so that you can use it as a cutting surface on each of the other 3 sides as well. And then do a lens surface.
Hang on, let me get through that real quick. Rotate. Center of rotation, last center, and then let's see where
You probably need to go from the top viewport.
Why is it not? Oh, I don't have those snap-ons. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So center.
There you go.
1, 2, 3. Where's my snap? 4.
Looks like you're missing one right there.
See you guys. About 10 minutes left. Should you find a good stopping point here in the next few minutes and save your work? Just pick back up on handlebars on Thursday. Array. So that one is just the array command this evening for type array. So this is saying you're gonna put 2 in this direction, which if you wanna do what I did, I just did like 8 along the Y direction. Which is easy. But they wanted to place us in the Y direction. So just set X to 1, Y to any 5 or 8, whatever. I think I did 5 that time. And then Z. Okay, so now you just click somewhere close to the circle. And move it up. However far away that is in distance. And it's just place it here. And then the other type of array I did was array folder. So in the right corner is your view of those cylinders, so you just drag this empty box to the left. Click. There you go. And right click. And then your center of your array is going to be the top viewport. You're gonna do the center of that circle. Oh, you had it rotated here. Oh, there it is. Now, how many times do you want to rotate those around? Okay. Always gonna be 360, so you can just hit enter. Yeah, it should be. It's small enough to fit in that drawer. You can just set it on the shelf too.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, that's alright.
So when is this due next Thursday?
I think that's right. It should say on campus.
12?
Sounds right. Should be the inventory or something.
Hannah, what was that step after I got it rotated? What did you want me to do with?
You split the center form using intersecting arms.
Okay, and then hide them, or?
Yeah, you can hide them. You probably need to delete that extruded part of each arm.
How do I get rid of that? That's the part I was. So I did the.
Since they're extruded, it should be pretty easy to.
So I now have them separate from that, and so
Zoom in here.
yeah, do what you need to do.
Alright, so it should be pretty easy to just Command Shift to grab the intersecting faces and delete them out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I would do, and then you
And
can just
then-
blend the arms back to that center form.
Do I have to hide? You did a hide something.
You can hide it or delete it. I just hid that
Yeah, that
face that
panel.
was cut. Yeah, yeah.
Or should I just delete that face?
You can delete it. I don't think you'll need it anymore.
Okay. Well. What the hell? So. That didn't do what I wanted it to do. I give up for today.
No, go away.
Yeah.
Is good skill.
Yeah, it is. And I got a class